Get ready for a whole lot of sunshine, and it is getting hotter this weekend. Hey everyone, Darrell here from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center with a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Yes, this weekend we are bringing the heat, keeping us with very little cloud cover, but by early next week, we see a shift in the weather pattern. Our ridge of high pressure, it starts to flatten, and what that means is it's weakening, opening the door for some afternoon and evening convection. So that's why we're looking at the unsettled weather pattern early next week, even the chance of some thunderstorms and fire weather conditions are going to be worsening through this weekend because of the abundant sunshine and unseasonably warm and then hot temperatures. Surface fuels are drying out super quickly, and any fires that start are likely to spread rapidly. So let's kick things off looking outside. This is a view across the high desert. We do have some clouds through the Tri-County area, none of them bringing any rain in sight. And there was a little bit of haze, but our air quality is sitting in the green. Good air quality. No new fire starts so far today that I've seen, and we'll be continuing to track that, especially through this weekend, especially with the sunshine, afternoon breezes kicking up, and all of that heat to dry out our surface fuels. But right here and right now, there have just been some light clouds over the high desert and no rain in sight. We still have a couple of back-to-back system fronts, weak fronts, that are just to our north. And what's happening is a ridge of high pressure is building in from the southwest U.S. That's kicking all of this activity even further north into Canada. And what that means for us is we're not going to have the in and out clouds that we've been seeing the last several days under our ridge of high pressure. We are going to get more sunshine. Now, when we look at infrared satellite imagery with an enhancement on it, what we're seeing is the lack of cloud cover over the high desert, just some light clouds, nothing that shows convection, nothing that shows a chance of thunderstorm activity today or even any precipitation. But also what we're noticing is the pressure. Okay, so this is enhanced infrared satellite imagery and pressure, and what you're seeing right here is these are isobars, those white lines right through the graphic, and isobars are equal lines of pressure, okay? And through the afternoon, we've been seeing those tighten up through the Cascades, allowing for stronger winds to come through the mountain passes. And so we're looking at a typical, for this time of the year, flow, with winds coming out of the west and northwest, becoming breezy through the next couple of hours. But looking at the bigger picture, we still see a couple waves of moisture lined up over the northern Pacific Ocean in a very broad and strong ridge of high pressure over the Pacific Ocean. But that's not the high we're really tracking until we get further into next week. Let's switch gears. Let's move over here. Over the Four Corners region, there's a high pressure that's developing, and it's trending to the northwest. That's going to be that high that brings us the arid air mass, the warm air mass that brings our temperatures up through the next couple of days. At some point during the weekend, it is going to couple with the high pressure over the Pacific Ocean, but that would be more of a maritime air mass, and we're not having much luck with any high humidity values or any moisture across the high desert. But one thing we are continuing to track is what's happening after we get through this weekend. So here through the next couple of days, some clouds this evening, those thin out. We're looking at more sunshine by Saturday. So early clouds Saturday, giving way to tons of sunshine. Sunday, just sunny all day long, really bringing the heat then. And when it comes to relative humidity values, right now we're in the 20s with some 30s on the map. Remember, this is percentages, and it really starts to get to where it's dangerously dry when we get into the teens and even single digits. So we're nowhere near that right now, and though it is warm, it's still not as dry as it could be. It's still very dry, just not as much as it could be. In the last 24 hours, temperatures have topped out in the 70s and 80s, but some of these are holdovers from yesterday. Right now we're sitting in the 70s with a few 80s on the map. So we actually had a dip in temperatures. I actually thought it was going to pick up 1 or 2 degrees today. It actually dropped 2 or 3 degrees, even 4 degrees today for some parts of the high desert. Still in that seasonal range though, still in the 70s with some 80s on the map. Now tonight we fall back into the 40s, so call it a crisp early morning, and then we warm up. This is when our warming trend begins. This is when temperatures warm back into the 80s for most of the high desert. And not just that, our UV intensity forecast is increasing as well, coming up to a 10 for Saturday and Sunday. By Monday and Tuesday it starts to dip down. That's because of our unsettled weather pattern. That's because the ridge is flattening and we're starting to see some convection across parts of the high desert. When it comes to UV intensity forecast, a very high, remember sunglasses and hat, A lot of people are going to want those. And if you have sensitive skin, think about protective clothing. Go UPF instead of SPF. When in doubt, seek the shade and always stay hydrated. And if you're spending a lot of time outdoors, reapply your sunscreen every 2 hours. Now, let's talk about this hotter weekend. By Saturday, well into the 80s and warmer. Some clouds early, sunshine late, and we keep that sunshine through Sunday. Just a light breeze, highs in the 80s and some 90s. Watch what happens Monday. We heat up even more. A chance of afternoon showers with some thunderstorms possible, mostly over south central Oregon. Some of that could come into our Tri-County area. So our heating trend is peaking on Monday. It's going to start to come back down by Tuesday. We carry that chance of showers through the beginning of the work week. By midweek, by hump day on Wednesday, mid to upper 80s, and sunshine is expected. So looking at our forecast model, it does show that weak trough offshore. That's the one, the one that's similar to the ones that have been bringing in and out clouds for the last couple of days. That's nudging further to the north as our high pressure builds into the region. So through tonight and tomorrow, we do have some clouds giving way to sunshine as that high pressure builds into the Pacific Northwest. We're keeping the sunshine Sunday, no rain in sight. Watch what happens Monday. Starting off sunny by the afternoon, some showers, some thunderstorms start to develop over southern and south central Oregon more specifically. Some of that pushes into the high desert. At this point, it doesn't look like as much of a risk of thunderstorm activity as we were just 24 hours ago, but we do keep those showers into Tuesday as well. So we're going to look at the long-range forecast model. It also shows that by Monday, we're looking at showers with a chance of some thunderstorms. By Tuesday, that chance carries over, but by Wednesday, we're back to sunshine as that Pacific ridge of high pressure builds into the region. Some in and out clouds through the second half of next week. Nothing really changing up the weather pattern too much. Just a gradual dip in temperatures is expected. And we're mostly staying dry across the high desert, but winds today have already been gusting between 15 and 25 miles per hour out of the northwest. Actual wind speeds, sustained wind speeds in the teens, so 10 to 20 miles per hour. Still breezy. And it stays a little breezy through the rest of this evening. Remember with this graphic, everything to the left of the white line, that now line, that's observed, everything to the right is forecast. And the forecast shows that around sunset, winds start to taper off. By tomorrow, a little breezy during the afternoon and evening. By Sunday, look at that, a light breeze all day long. So for tonight, 40s and a few 50s, we'll call it mild, cool for some of us, maybe even a little crisp. And then by tomorrow, highs in the 80s with a few 70s and a couple 90s possible. And then by Sunday, through the 80s, reaching into the 90s. By Monday, 90s. Then we get that chance of showers and thunderstorms. It's going to be a double-day event. And then by Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, more sunshine, more 80s, mid to upper 80s expected. So that's the latest in weather. Here's a quick rundown of your headlines for this Friday, June the 27th. We're expecting crisp nights and warmer days. Afternoon breezes are in the forecast with low relative humidity values both Saturday and Sunday, so it's going to be very dry. And fire danger is rising through the next couple of days. But join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. It's at 5 and 11 on ABC and at 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. Well, the latest headlines and news and your most reliable forecast. See you then.